Welcome to Channel X TV, sponsored by Volo, and delighted to be joined today by Christian from Rithum, Head of Sales at EMEA, and to talk about last-minute prep for Prime Day and what to expect. It's coming up fast, it's next week, but a lot of what we're going to talk about today will also apply to other holiday sales. Obviously, we've got Black Friday, we've got Amazon's autumn sale, and many other sales events throughout the year. But Christian, first of all, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Chris. I'm very well, and thank you for having me here. Good morning, and hope you feel as well as I do.
I do, thank you. Secondly, Prime Day. Today's Friday. Prime Day starts next week. What can you share lessons from last year? And I think possibly the first thing I'm interested in is kind of what are consumers going to be buying? What were the best-selling categories last year, and what really turns a consumer on Prime Day?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's around the corner next week, and every business participating in Prime Day or being invited to participate in Prime Day, we believe should be very prepared right now. So as it's next week already, and looking at the best-selling categories, it's really the evergreens we've seen over years. And the first ranking is consumer electronics. So consumers really are looking for a good offer, a good product. This is still number one, and then followed by home and kitchen. To renovate your house, you make it, prepare it for the holiday season, or maybe you prepare your garden for the summer right now, which is still in full swing, and then followed by clothing and shoes. Interestingly, also automotive is among the top five, which plays into the situation of people looking more at their spends, probably not buying new cars, but repairing their cars and keeping them for longer. And then lawn and garden, which I alluded on earlier, which falls somehow into home and kitchen, but really to make your surrounding cozy, improve your house, your garden. So these are really the top five categories, and they've been these categories for a couple of years now.
And I think it's interesting because it's very obvious looking at that list that you've run through that pretty much people are buying stuff to make their life better, whether it be consumer electronics, things for the home, things for the garden, things for the car. But when we get into the autumn and we get into the autumn sale and then Black Friday, I'm guessing the toy category comes to the fore then. So it's more about the time of year. People are buying things they want now rather than from later in the year on this sale.
Well, both. So the consumer behavior, and there are many researchers around, consumer behavior is really that people buy things they want for themselves or already as presents for the holiday season. Though the behavior changed a little bit, as they said, they consider more items they really want instead of this is something nice to have, but actually I don't need it. So this goes back to that consumers are somehow forced to control their spend more than they were forced 3-4 years ago. But it's both buying things for themselves, buying for friends and family as presents. So this is overall the behavior, and it takes, I would say, it's more than 80% are really very selective on what they purchase. And probably one point on the toy category, that's accurate. This is more the boost in towards the holiday season during Black Friday, Black Week, Cyber Week. And for consumer electronics, I think there is one trigger event which is also around the corner, which will probably be the driver for a lot of sales in consumer electronics, which is the Olympic Games in France coming up next week. So these events typically drive that, well, a consumer wants to have a wider screen to get more if he can't attend the games in person, or can't travel to Paris, or can't afford the tickets, whatever the situation is. So this is usually a big driver for sales in consumer electronics.
So watch out for some deals on some big TVs on Prime Day.
Yeah.
But what I really want to find out is a bit about, is it too late to do anything now to improve your performance on Prime Day? But perhaps more importantly, as you go through Prime Day, what lessons can you learn that you can apply to future Amazon sales events? And I think the first thing I wanted to ask you about is sort of data-driven insights. How can you delve down into your own data and what can you discover from it to build up for Q4?
Yeah, so I'd say businesses and sellers participating in Prime Day should be almost ready and ready to go. So the inventory should be there. If it's not there today, they're really in trouble. But there are still a couple of things they can do. Prepare their teams, as there will be more orders, there will be more outbound shipping, there will be more customer requests. Where is my order? So prepare your team mentally on these days ahead so that they're all on board. They know how important this is for their business and how important it is to really show good performance with the end consumer, with the buyer.
And I think that's a really good point, because we're all too aware that even if you haven't got deals on Prime Day, more people are shopping online and they'll buy more products that aren't on the official deals as well. So even if you're ignoring Prime Day and you're not taking part, you could quite well see an uptick in order that's worth preparing for.
Correct. And if you have an inventory you're featuring on Amazon for Prime Day, and there is a demand for it, or it's just hitting a nerve where the consumer say, well, this is exactly what I want. It's probably not a super Prime Day offering, but this is what I want. This seller has it. This might be a very good side effect for those that are not participating in Prime Day. Yes. But coming back to your point on data-driven insights, every seller on Amazon can use this time in the year, which is it's a huge event. It's getting bigger even this year. So it's forecasted by eMarketer to grow 6 to 7% over last year's Prime Day, which will be around $14 billion in sales. And 85% of the consumers consider to shop something on Prime Day. So it's a good situation and it's a good event to gain insight on your business and look into the data really from different angles and say, what is selling, what is slow selling, where do we have challenges on availability, on selection, do we have the right sizes, do we have the right colors when it comes to, for example, fashion, do we have the right products that are the most in demand, and build on this for the upcoming holiday season, because it's still time to improve. Or where you see, well, we are struggling to get the orders shipped out in time. So now it's still time to sort this until the holiday season starts. Or we say, well, our content is not great and we are not featured on the retail media part of Amazon. So there's still time to work and improve the content, for example, going for better images, going for better descriptions. So all these things will be seen in the data. If you are really extracting the data, pull in some specialists and say, well, how do you interpret the data? And looking at it from different angles, which could help you build the momentum for the holiday season.
So data-driven insights really key for the future. And as you said, just getting your team ready for the day. But what else can we learn? And things like inventory management, you've mentioned operations, you've mentioned advertising. What can we really put in place, and what should we be focusing on these things?
So for the inventory management, I think there it's important you're fully aware what you have on stock, what products you have on hand, and you can sell immediately. And for those products you don't have on hand, but you're sourcing right in time, to really know when are they available, how long does it take me to send them out. And the most important thing is really to monitor your stock. So, well, okay, if certain products are selling faster than you anticipated, this is probably a good occasion to rethink the pricing and probably say, well, if there's so much demand on these products, maybe we can take the $1, the $2 more and improve our margin with this. So impacting our bottom line directly, or reducing the spend in retail media to have on these products. So, well, they have the sales velocity. We don't need to push them with retail media, but probably there are other products in my inventory, in my warehouse I want to sell, which are selling a little bit slow, and shift the retail media spend from A to B product to boost the other sales, while the A product is selling already with a high velocity and there is a demand.
That's really interesting, because it means you really need to be on your toes on Prime Day, putting the price up or down as sales are impacting your stock, and moving your ad spend at the same time. So there's a lot to do here, and that's without looking at your actual operations of getting the product shipped. For a lot of people, they may have product in FBA and not have to worry too much about that, but they still need to monitor orders, customer queries. There's so much that goes on. What can people do there?
Yeah, so in the end, it goes back to really implement strong processes within your team. Prep your team and say, well, we need all hands on deck for Prime Day and the days after, as there will be more customer demand, there will be more requests, there will be more emails we need to answer. We should answer them in time, because this, in the end of the day, creates a great customer experience and lays the foundation for a returning customer. So the investment you put in customer acquisition during Prime Day will probably pay back in the holiday season or in the next year's Prime Day, depending on if you're really very strong in the holiday season, or if your products are seasonal products which build the peak in sales only in springtime, for example. So all in all, a very good occasion, but robust operations are a must. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. And connecting the dots between the sales velocity, how often you win the basket, the pricing, the available inventory, the selection in this inventory, all this needs to be evened out somehow. And it's very difficult to do this on a manual basis. So you should rely on robust systems that can give you this real-time data, deliver the insights right in the moment you need it, instead of juggling with Excel sheets and trying to make your own conclusion, which just takes too long. As it's 2 days, it's 48 hours. There is not much time, and you usually won't have the time to create all these analyses. So you need to have a strong operation system, the right tools to leverage the data and take informed decisions.
And I guess having that automation is going to be essential for the other thing you mentioned, which is the retail media on Amazon, which, for those not familiar with the term, is, we call it Amazon sponsored brands or sponsored product. But I find it very interesting shifting the spend from the product that's already going sales out the door like mad. There's no need to spend as much on that, and shifting the spend to other products. Can that be done manually, or is this just a total automation job that's needed?
So actually, you could do this manually, but the question is this really efficient? And are you able to get the most dollars out of your spend, like if you automate these processes? And I think all these data points needs to be connected. So it's the inventory that is available, it's the demand on the end consumers end, it's the sales velocity, it's the pricing. So all this plays into it. And say, well, if you see, coming back to this first example, my product A is selling at a high velocity, and I will probably run out of stock before Prime Day is over, which might be a bad experience for the end consumer. This might be the trigger for you to say, okay, let's probably change the price a little bit and reduce the ad spend on this item, but shift it over to other products I have in my warehouse. I want to sell a little bit faster because I've planned for 2 days and I'm not able to sell the stock, but I want to sell the stock because I don't want to risk aged inventory. These data points need to be connected, and doing this fast, and you only have the 48 hours, doing this fast requires a certain level of automation and working with real-time data.
And I think that is the important thing that you've kind of touched on there, which is we're in this to make money and profit, and maximizing profit when things are selling fast, but also maximizing profit by making sure we don't get aged inventory that's sat on the shelves for month after month. What can we do to keep an eye on that bottom line? Because it's easy when you only got 3 or 4 products, and for those that are maybe manufacturing and they've only got 5 SKUs, they know what's in stock. But when you've got 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 SKUs, it's almost impossible. So what should we be looking at here?
Yeah, this is exactly the point. With an inventory of 5,000 SKUs, you can't do it manually. So you need to have proper tools in place that give you a real-time view. How is it? How is the current state? How is the forecast over the next 48 hours? So do we land where we want? Where do we have the items in our warehouse that are sleeping and not selling? And what can we do about this? So having these integrated tools that give you an outlook on how long will this inventory last if the sales go on like this, and speaking to the expert, pull in your digital marketing experts, pull in your pricing experts and say, well, what can we do to improve the situations where we are not great in, and how can we maximize the outcome on these areas where we are great in? So these things you just need to even out somehow, but without tools, without automation, without considering real-time data, it's almost impossible, especially when you're running huge inventories.
Christian, I want to thank you so much for your time today. And just to sum up, I think that the 5 things to look at, not just to make this Prime Day as great as possible, but also learnings for future sale events, are that you've got to have data-driven insights, dynamic inventory management, know what's selling, what's not selling. You may be able to make more profit. Obviously, streamline operations, focusing on your advertising, and keep an eye on the bottom line and know what's going on in the business. So, Christian, final tip for anyone getting ready for Prime Day: is it just keep calm because it's gonna be a wild ride, or is there a final tip that can be practically introduced now?
I think keeping calm is one of the best advices. Prepare yourself and your team mentally, and be ready to learn from this experience and say, well, okay, even if we are not doing as we expected, we would have expected being better, doing better. Take the insights, look at the data, and learn for the next time, and build the foundation for the holiday season or for your next peak season that is just a couple of weeks away. And don't stress yourself. Keep calm, carry on, like they say in the UK, and I like this very much. And be ready, be present.
Thank you so much for your time, Christian. And for those that want to find out more, how do they get hold of you, or how do they get hold of Rithum?
Go to our website, rithum.com, and there are multiple ways to get in touch with us. Happy for you to share my contact data, my email.
Yeah. I'll put your LinkedIn link below this video. So if you want to get in touch, it's just down there.
Okay, cool. And get in touch with our experts, with my team. We are more than happy to help. And we've just yesterday seen, and speaking to a customer, we launched last year prior Prime Day, and it was really a very, very short period of time we had to get him live, and it went well. So we're definitely able to help for the upcoming holiday season. So still there is some time. Of course, we can't do miracles, but we have a very, very committed team, and everyone is working super hard to make our customers happy.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for your time, Christian, and enjoy Prime Day from your side. Watching your customers succeed.
I will have a watch, and hopefully we talk soon.